Talk radio station.
This is Afternoons on Dubai Eye 103.8.
We're talking to the sober girl. What is it? Sober yoga. See, sober yoga girl, and how she discovered she had bipolar. Probably wasn't accepting it or dealing with it. Went to a couple of brunches, life changed, her health changed, and now she's back on track and she is helping other people. So if you want to join in the conversation, you can text us. Ask us any question you want, 4001.
Healthy habits.
So I want to ask you, Alex, what was interesting is you self-diagnosed yourself with bipolar. What age did you do that and how did you do that?
Yeah, so when I was 18, I was in a Bachelor of Education program to become a teacher, and one of the requirements was to do a psychology course. And I actually read about it in a textbook. And I knew that it was something that I was suffering with. Like, I kind of knew that I was experiencing depression. And then I read about mania, which is when your mind is overactive and racing and you're making decisions without good judgment. And I read about it and I was like, that's what I have.
But did you get treated for it after that?
So for me, the struggle that I faced was I did seek counseling. First of all, overcoming the stigma of getting into a counselor's office was difficult to begin with.
Tell me about it, yeah.
And then I finally got in there. And the problem for a long time with me was that I seemed like I was high functioning and I seemed well. And I think I did a disservice in that I wasn't telling the truth to the counselors I saw about the reality. Like,
what was some of the episodes, like a really bad one or something that, scared you?
So I was having really intrusive thoughts and but I didn't want to voice those to the doctors. I didn't want them to know that I was drinking every day. Whenever your doctor asks you how much you drink, you're like, oh,
I don't drink.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I was really downplaying the situation.
And you exercise 3 times a week, yeah.
Totally.
I see. Okay, so when did you go on medication?
So I was put on medication before I moved to the Middle East, so back in 2014, but it was a really low dose. So I was on 25 milligrams, which would work if I were sober, if I were, doing yoga, if I were taking care of myself.
So do you think having that kind of life and, drinking and the brunches was a way of coping with your bipolar?
Yes. And I think the combination of, moving overseas, while it's an amazing adventure, it can trigger culture shock. It can trigger overwhelm. You get to a new place and you don't know who your friends are. You don't have your support right away. There's a whole bunch of stressors, even though it's an amazing experience. And if you don't have those supports in line, then it can lead to a spiral.
So that was a pretty brave thing for you to do in the condition you were struggling with, to just move and leave home and leave your family as well.
I think I thought I was in a better shape than I was.
Oh, I see.
And then when I got over here, it really, I got into the party scene and that's when it really worsened.
Did it numb the depression in many ways?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I always think there's something else, isn't it? We're numbing so many things in our life emotionally that we don't want to deal with. But I'm really glad that, it took you just a year or so. It wasn't 10 years down the road where you woke up, So now you are helping other people. You've founded a Sober Yoga Girl podcast and you do some yoga classes. And one of our friends, Laura here, says, oh, you have Alex on the show. I do her classes online and they're so good. So she's been raving about them. So first of all, tell me about the Sober Yoga Girl podcast. What kind of things do you talk about and what kind of guests do you have on the show?
Yeah, so I started the show in January 2020, and I've had guests all over the world from all different walks of life, all different experiences, for the most part with alcohol. And I think it really depicts that, you can be any type of person, any age, any gender, and be struggling with drinking.
Yeah.
And I think by hearing other people's stories, we get inspired to make changes ourselves, whether it's with drinking or food or sugar or caffeine or whatever your coping mechanism is.
Do you find there's is it more men or women here that are struggling, like in this region, with that?
So I would say, I think it's a mix, but I think I resonate with and speak to women mostly.
Yeah.
So the majority that I actually have a community called Sober Girls Yoga, and it's all women that I'm supporting in quitting drinking and replacing it with healthier habits.
It's funny, we had Vanessa on before and she was talking about anti-aging and she goes, one of the biggest causes of aging is drinking, you know, and it was quite interesting because I really didn't know that. I mean, I just think it's a lot of stress as well. Obviously, that plays a part, but she goes, it plays a massive part in the way you look. So you're helping other people and you've got some programs and workshops. Tell me about them.
Yeah, so I run an online community, and what I do is I help women quit drinking for a 30-day period, a 60-day period, or even up to a year and longer. And I run group programs, and then I also support individuals one-on-one. So it's up to you and what you are looking for, whether you want to be short-term sober or long-term sober, whether you want to be in a group or on your own. And then I also just do general yoga classes. So I also have a general yoga community, and that's what Laura is part of. So you're welcome to join me, even if you're not on that sober journey.
And she's now living the life of Eat, Pray, Love, Julia Roberts in Bali, because you're between there and here. So you basically do these yoga classes from anywhere in the world, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So I started this business based in the UAE right after I quit my teaching job. So about a year back. And I stayed here for a few months, and then I realized, you know, I have the freedom to do this from anywhere. So why don't I do it from anywhere? So I spend a lot of time in Ubud in Bali. I just spent 2 months with my family in North America. And then I get to have the best of both worlds because I get to come back to, you know, the yang and the busyness of Dubai and then the peace of Bali.
I mean, when it comes to wellness and yoga, I mean, Bali's energy is just on another scale. So is that just like a great place for you to meet like-minded people and work on yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. And I also host yoga retreats in Bali, actually. So people come and join me for a week or 10 days, and I do sober focused retreats. I also do custom retreats. So if you have a small group or a private group that wants to come down to Bali, hit me up.
I'm obsessed by yoga. I've been doing it for over 23 years. What kind of yoga do you do?
So I originally got trained in vinyasa, but I also teach yin yoga. I teach
yin.
meditation. Yeah, yin is the best.
Anyway, listen, this has been such an interesting story, and I want to see pictures of your villa now in yoga. I just love Bali villas. They're so cute and so natural. But thank you so, so much. And tell everybody again where they can follow you online if they want to join in.
Yeah, so my Instagram is Alex McRobs. That's my personal Instagram. And then the community is called The Mindful Life Practice on Instagram, and Sober Yoga Girl Podcast also on Instagram.
Alex, thank you for coming in.
Floor show, kicking with your torso. Boys getting high and the girls even more so. Wave your hands if you're not